Right, Vanessa, appreciate you joining us. Thank you for that. All right, the United States and China, the world's two largest economies, have struck a one-year trade deal on the supply of crucial rare earths, making a new chapter in the economic relationship. The deal was signed today in Busan, South Korea, on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, in what was the first face-to-face meeting between the two leaders in 6 years. Amongst key issues discussed during the Trump-Xi meeting were the export controls on rare earths announced by Beijing this month. The key agreement aims at de-escalating tensions between the two economic superpowers, with the core feature of the deal is the agreement from China to pause its recently imposed export controls and licensing requirements on rare earth minerals. Apart from the rare earths deal, the United States has also now agreed to slash fentanyl-related tariffs on China from 20% to 10% effective immediately. China has also agreed to resume its large-scale purchase of U.S. agricultural products, a major flashpoint between the two. However, while Trump hailed the deal, markets reacted differently. Markets viewed the Busan meeting between Trump and Xi as ending with no major breakthrough. U.S. stock market futures today showed the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 200 points. And after gaining over 110 points earlier. Recovery, the Shanghai Composite was also down 0.73%, while the deal provides significant de-escalation here. The analysts view it as a truce rather than a comprehensive solution, with the one-year term hinting at possible tensions in the future as well. Let's talk about this with our guest. Joining us on the show is Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, former diplomat. Major General Sudhakar Ji, senior geopolitical and strategic defense expert, is with us on the show as well. Mr. Vijay Kranti, chairman of Chase, is joining us at this point as well. And last but by no means the least, Mr. Scott Faulkner, head of Eagle Enterprises security firm. He's joining us all the way from Washington, D.C. All right, welcome, gentlemen. Let's begin our conversation. Mr. Faulkner, I'll begin with you. Taking a leaf out of the opening monologue, I said, well, this could, for all we know, just be optics. You know, the elephant in the room that actually prevented these two great economies to get along was, of course, the imbalance that Donald Trump said that China had created and the deficit that existed when it came to trade between the United States and China. We are also speaking about rare earth minerals, Mr. Faulkner, but the fact of the matter is Donald Trump knows that there are a lot of sellers now. You know, Pakistani Prime Minister and the Army Chief of Pakistan, Asim Munir, were in the White House, flanked by a suitcase which had these rare earth minerals. So this is not really about rare earth minerals. This is just optics, in my opinion. I would like to hear yours, sir.
I totally agree. And on the flight back, Trump said that on a scale of 1 to 10, he thought the meeting was a 12. I think it's more likely a 3 or a 4. And the main thing is these were tactical decisions. I think of all of the significant, if there is any significance in these decisions and agreements, is on rare earth, because China was about to exercise what I would call their nuclear option, which was not only to deprive the West of rare earth directly, but any country creating any kind of product that was using any rare earth that was not Chinese origin, that they would be banning, taking trade sanctions against those countries and their products. So this is unprecedented to think of a country literally trying to change the entire world economy based on rare earth. So the 1 year suspension of China's nuclear option, that gives the West more time to look at alternatives, whether it's the United States sourcing inside the country or rebuilding the Australian rare earth or other places in the world. A key part to it is China also is the only country that really makes a lot of the equipment that both extracts the rare earth and processes the rare earth. So and of course one of the key things is these magnets that are in a lot of products. So that's probably if I had to give one, a points on the board, the 1 year kind of delay on China's nuclear option is probably the most significant. Everything else was rhetoric. The whole issue regarding soybeans, the current fall harvest cycle is over, and so American farmers are going to have to basically eat their fall product. But supposedly starting in January, we're back up to 180 million tons. But the key problem there, which has nothing to do with China, US, is that China likes Latin America, basically Brazil, Argentina, soybeans, because they have a higher protein content. So until Americans, farmers are willing to hybrid their plants to up the protein level, this is a losing proposition for the U.S. farmers in terms of the China market long term.
Absolutely right. Mr. Kranti, how do you view this bonhomie, for the lack of a better word, between the United States and China at this point in time? It doesn't exude that definitive solution that should have come about, considering the fact that Donald Trump has time and again said that the tariffs are going to exceed 155% when it comes to China. How do you think this entire meeting has come out in its optics, as well as the real on-ground consequences that we are likely to see? Mr. Kranti, that's for you, sir.
Sorry, I missed the question. My audio was not very good.
Right. Okay, let me just briefly repeat the question, sir. So we have spoken about optics. It doesn't look good. It seems to be an on-surface level conversation, which is not really focusing towards the core issues between the United States and China. How do you think the next year is going to pan by between the United States and China, considering the fact that the Chinese haven't changed their mind, but Donald Trump could have changed his mind on his way back to the United States from Busan?
One thing is that on his way back, after he is back home, Donald Trump had the pressure to show something what he has gained through this the whole tour, and especially his meeting with President Xi Jinping. So I don't think he is going back with something very very big, or something which for example, the rare earth related issues and other issues. China had taken a stand against America. Now it is only giving a concession by withdrawing or postponing those decisions for some time, maybe 1 year. That I don't think is a big achievement for Mr. Trump, but still, because he's in habit of showing off and playing to the gallery, and here, as many of our friends are saying, that it was more a game of optics. So this meeting has helped him in creating good photo ops and good optics. But as far as the net result is concerned, I don't think he has gained something very new out of China. Something which China had already withdrawn, it has given back partially. And the terms and conditions, nobody knows about rare earths and magnets and other things. What conditions are there? Because Mr. Trump is in habit of never telling those details which are the really operative ones finally. And as we see that Mr. Xi Jinping, he always he speaks less, and his decisions are more deep, with very deep effects. But he also never, or China never opens up those details, the fine print of whatever has happened. If President Trump is very happy to give himself 12 out of 10, that is Mr. Trump. We could not have expected. I think if he had asked for, he had declared that he got 15 out of 10, he would have been, right in his own way. But here I think in this whole episode, this has a big lesson for countries like India. We have seen the way he has dealt with his very, very good friends like Japan and South Korea, the way he has arm twisted them and then forced them to take decisions which I doubt those decisions are going to be popular or very acceptable within their own countries. So I think this has given a good reason for the Indian government to have a fresh look at its relations with America. And at the same time, this is time when India has to probe its relations or extend its limits, the footprint of its own friends and business partners with other countries. And I very much doubt that this meeting of Mr. Xi Jinping and Trump is going to give anything positive for India, except that India has to now remain alert. And let us see how it happens, because in coming few days, Mr. Trump is going to come out with his agenda on India. He will be more clear in next maybe 1 week. Let us see what he has in mind and how much he tries to lever his meeting with the Chinese president in manipulating his relations with friends like India and other countries.
Yes. Right. And Ambassador Sajdev, right after Donald Trump, announced this getting along with China, he was quick to put on Truth Social that America is going to get back to conducting nuclear tests. The last one that they did was in 91-92. Not the kind of messaging you should be sending out when you're trying to in fact effectuate certain trade deals. Sir, I can't hear you.
To differ with, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting question, but I beg to differ with you. Trump is.
I'm not stating any. It's not an opinion, sir. It's a fact. I'm just telling you that there was a nuclear test that was conducted.
Yes, it was. In fact, the announcement was made minutes before his summit with Xi Jinping. Secondly, as I was saying, that President Trump is in the habit of grandstanding and creating disruptions before such summits. You would recall that before he sat down with Mr. Putin in Alaska, he had a B-1 bomber march past above him, above the two, and was busy taking salute. So these kind of inconsequential but optical stuff is important to him to create atmosphere. I imagine he thought this would enable him to make a better deal. But then, to me, the question begets another question as to what does he mean by nuclear testing? Because his own statement on social media says that he has asked Department of War to do that. In the United States, nuclear testing is not done by Pentagon or Department of War now that it has been named. It is done by Department of Energy. So one doesn't understand to whom is it addressed and what precisely is being asked to be conducted. In fact, Nuclear Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty has been in place for 35 years. Even before that, there was a test ban treaty signed in early 60s, to which United States is a signatory. So signing such a deal, such an order would run contrary to United States international commitments. But then that's another issue. I think what is being planned is to do things that allows United States to catch up with the other peer group, such as China, such as North Korea, and such as Russia, on hypersonic missiles, on ballistic missile which uses nuclear fuel and not conventional hydrocarbon fuel to power the missile, and giving it unlimited range. Poseidon missile, again using nuclear fuel, that Russia has inaugurated only 2 days ago in an experiment. So all these show that United States doesn't not only have lesser number of nuclear weapons as compared to Russia, it also has difficulty in catching up with the latest in technology. This, when the START treaty has already run out, is likely to run out next year, and Putin has suggested that it be extended for 1 year, but Trump has not yet decided on that issue.
Okay, fair enough. General Sudhakarji is also with us on the broadcast. General Sudhakarji, however much we may rave about the American dream, the elusive American dream now, and no offense to Mr. Faulkner, the American dream is made and manufactured in China. It is a consumer economy that has relied on China heavily in the last 2 decades. How do you look at this tug of war that continues to in fact prevail despite this kind of a summit happening between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping, and what are the gains for India in this?
Vinit, I hope I am audible. Good evening. Thank
Loud
you
and
for
clear, sir.
And compliments to very distinguished and esteemed co-panelists. Without meaning to contradict anyone, I am just sharing a perspective. You have raised 2 major issues. The last one is how does it impact India, and the first one is what is America trying to do? In simplistic expression, I would say. See, first and foremost thing, we have to understand that both the leaders are meeting each other for the first time after, I think, a gap of 6 years. And in the emerging geopolitical churn or evolving geopolitical churn, my personal take on the whole issue is that America is doing good. America is doing good. I was there for quite a long time. Doing good in one sense, that it has started realizing it is no longer the same America which used to be there in Cold War 1.0. It has started admitting and acknowledging the fact that bipolarity or multipolarity is the new order of the day in 21st century. They have to reconcile with it. Let me substantiate if you have time. 12th of April 2025, Pete Hegseth, the Defense Secretary of USA, he made a public announcement that there is only one country in the world which has got a weapon system which can destroy all 11 aircrafts of USA in just 20 minutes time, no matter how remote they are located. And that country is China and Chinese hypersonic missile. He also went on to say that in number of series of war games that USA has conducted, simulated war games, for several times, there has been only one conclusive outcome. And that conclusive outcome has been USA has been losing consistently, persistently, without fail to China. Today, as we are talking, in the technological paradigm, the critical minerals were back in 2003, 2007, USA is to lead in 61 items out of 64. China was leading only in 3. Today in 2025, China is leading in 57 and USA is leading only in 7. DeepSeek is not a surprise. DeepSeek has come about because certain paradigm and significant changes have taken place wherein China has left USA far behind. Talk about the PhD STEM, talk about the global scientist, or talk about the global universities existing in the world. The best 10, if not all the best 10, at least more than 5, they belong to China because they have attracted the teaching faculty with 3 times the salary or the pay package which the Western countries have been giving. So you count anything, they are meeting for the first time in 6 years. He has in past 8.5 to 9 months time, he's dabbled into many multiple issues, internal, external, certain things which are out of context also, and he realized that he was not succeeding anywhere. Maybe he perhaps thought, in my understanding, that Indo-Pacific is a subject which he was trying to downplay, and the same code which he himself revived in the year 2017 was saying code is something which can be ignored and neglected. Perhaps he thought perhaps by going around the world, he may be able to touch certain nerves which may give him very resounding and immediate overnight result. Perhaps he has gone back with the statistics of 12 out of 10 in the meeting which was held in South Korea, and I must compliment our colleague from the United States. Very openly and candidly, he is, in a very humble manner, he has admitted the fact. Here is a man, he is the leader of the superpower. Without saying so, he is indirectly indicating to the world that it is no longer a superpower, it is a declining power, which is not even comparable with the Thucydide trap emerging economy that is China, which was created by none other than the United States. So these are the realities which, yes, I must also admit one fact, that soybean and the corn is very major issue which is pricking, which is causing lots of anxiety in his mind, because farmers there in United States, they are up with arms. The same people who voted him to power, back to power, today they are cursing him. What kind of man has been brought back to power? He has not actually listened to our problems. And I tend to agree with our colleague from USA that the protein content being lesser than what is there in Brazil, there is another thing which is happening, Vinit. The sphere of influence of the United States in the backyard has undergone change in the 21st century. Venezuela, Colombia, you talk about any country, less for Argentina, I may say, Brazil, you talk about Peru, any country in the Latin America which America used to trust, and they could blindly give any order and elicit response of the national interest of USA. Today, there are doubts which are arousing. Today, there is a battle going on. Venezuela is being threatened to be attacked. These are the stark reality of United States. The fentanyl that we are talking of has killed almost 1,11,000 in the year 2022. In 2024, there are 48,000 in open media. People have died because of overdose and dependency on this particular drug, which is supposed to be meant as a painkiller for cancer patients, is being used as a drug peddler, something to survive in the United States. Look at the homeless people. You've been traveling so much extensively, both Europe and USA. Look at the state is actually happening in USA. Therefore, I would say, to sum up my whatever I have said in 2 lines. One, it is given some insight into Donald Trump to go back as to what all things he can revive and what all things he
All
should
right, fair enough, sir. Fair enough, sir. We've run out of time, but I appreciate your thoughts. You've made some valid points, and so have our other guests on the show. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. We take a short break. We'll be right back.
MD